All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Perfect. I stand here this morning as a father, as a physician, as a husband, as a small business owner, and I am on my way over here. I was recalling the words that I hope we've all had gone through our minds recently. The words of Edmund Burke. You know what I'm going to say? The only thing that tyranny needs to succeed is for good men to do nothing. And you all are good men and women and small business owners and citizens, and you're doing something, and that's important. When I was asked to speak by Kim, I could have said no. She gave me an easy out, honestly. She said, you could say no, it's fine. She wouldn't have told anybody she even asked me. And it was tempting. It was tempting to say no. But I realized that I have a unique position because of my role, the role given to me by the health department and by the state of Tennessee as a physician. It would have been easy for me to say no, but I realized that I can't say no. I recently have watched some movies with my daughter, and she loves the Lord of the Rings movie, and everyone knows about the hero's journey. And it would be really easy for us, me and you all, to sort of stay in the Shire, right? And where we're comfortable and life is good, and ignore what's going on around us. But it wasn't the right thing to do for me, and I know that it's not been the right thing for you all to do. My daughter, on the way out of the house this morning, she's 10, and she said, "Dad, why are you going to this rally?" Initially, she thought it was a riot, the first one that I went to. "Why are you going to this rally? I don't think people are listening." And I said, "Lydia, if you don't think people are listening, here's what I wanted to share with you. If you wanted something for your birthday, how many times would you ask for it?" She said, "A lot." And I said, "There are things that we want." And she goes, "All right, Dad, go." Unfortunately, we've been deceived, and I would like to think it was not intentional. It's tough to make that case sometimes. There are too many questions. There are too many unanswered things. There are gaps in the stories and inconsistencies. Our lawyer friend mentioned several of them, and honestly, I have a responsibility. I have patients. I have 2,000 patients, and they come to me and they say, "Should I wear a mask? Where should I go? Where am I safe? Can my kids go outside? What do I need to do?" And you can imagine the difficulty I have with all of the information they're hearing from these so-called trusted sources, and then they ask me. And it puts me in a very interesting position. I've got to tell them the truth. That's why I'm their physician. I've got to tell them the truth. Especially or even when the truth is not popular. For example, they asked me, "How come, Dr. Hutton, how come they're wanting us to wear masks in public because they prevent the transmission of disease, but we're seeing on the news that they're letting criminals out of jail so they don't transmit the disease to one another? Why can't they just put a mask on them?" And my answer is, I don't know. That makes no sense to me. And then thing after thing after thing is happening like that. My son is 12. This is like his senior year of Little League, right? This is like the seminal year of Little League, and we can't even get... All right. We can't even get anyone to tell us why the Little League fields are closed right now. We know that this virus is not easily transmittable outside. Vitamin D is good for our health. Fresh air is good for our health. The way that this virus is transmitted is indoors. But they're closing down parks and Little Leagues, and no one can tell us why. Nobody can tell us why. It's got to stop. Health Department, you have lost our trust.
Yes!
Your models are wrong. They've been wrong. If you want to find out the truth, let me point all of you to W.M. Briggs. Look up his website. He's a statistician. Look him up. He will tell you about the models and tell you how incredibly wrong they are. Not only is his assertion that the models have been wrong and the social isolation has not been useful, but it has been harmful to health. Yeah. Social isolation, as we've already heard, has been incredibly harmful to our health. Enough with the non-scientific mandates.
Yeah.
We will consider them as suggestions. We want you to make your recommendations to us based on what you know, and we will work with you as local physicians, and we will ask your opinion and your input, and we will work with you in order to help our patients make the decision that's best for them.
Yes.
Here's the third thing that needs to happen. Future public health mandates or strong suggestions have got to have an expiration date that's reasonable.
Amen.
My suggestion is 2 weeks. We will give you 2 weeks while we figure out the truth, while you figure out the truth, and then it ends automatically. And if you want to re-up this, then you need to have the representatives called, you need to have an assembly of representatives, and you need to have a vote if it's going to go longer than that. Health department has lost my trust a long time ago, and I'll tell you why. It seems like all of the decisions that are made essentially always side on the people who stand to profit the most from them.
Right.
Instead of focusing on things like how we can supply you with the product to keep you healthy,
right.
Instead, what a true health department needs to be doing is these things. 1, focusing on small, local, sustainable food production.
Woo!
If you want your citizens to be healthy, that is how you keep them healthy. If you want your citizens to be healthy, let's do research on the health impacts of the things that we spray on our fields and our foods that we consume by the tons every single year. But I don't think that's popular with them because that doesn't make them any money, right? If you want us to trust you and you have our health in mind, let's stop worrying so much about giant research products that stand to make a pharmaceutical company billions of dollars, and let's focus on the small changes we can make that we know help and we know can be researched and we know we have evidence for. Things like vitamin C, vitamin D, selenium, zinc.
Yes.
The data is there. That's what we want to hear from our health department.
Right.
The health department has lost our trust, and I'll tell you why. I learned a week ago when one of my patients asked me about testing, and he said, what is it with this thing that if I get tested, the health department can share my results with my local law enforcement without my consent? And I honestly couldn't believe it. I hadn't heard it yet, and I looked it up, and it's true. It was on the website. There are a number of local local police agencies that have a agreement with the health department that information can be shared without your knowledge or consent. So let me talk about testing for a minute. I understand that a lot of folks are against testing, and I support that. That's fine. However, there are a lot of people that are very interested to know if they have been exposed to this virus. And let me tell you that there are ways to do this. There's ways to do this privately and anonymously and in your home. If you want to know your status, you can do that. And it can be done. So don't be tricked into thinking the only way to know if you've been exposed to this and can resume your activities is to have a test done where your results are not private. Your results can be and should be private. And then you have the option of doing whatever you want with that information.
Woo!
The health department also needs to be looking at other things, like what are the effects of wireless technology on our health?
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with sickness. I'm here today again, as I said, as a father of 8 and a small business owner, and I didn't think that I as a physician would have to speak so loudly and so forcefully over and over and over to defend liberty. I thought I could worry about health, but I've been thrust into this spotlight. I've been thrust into this position where I also have to do the job of defending the liberty of my patients, not just their health.
Woo!
So here's what I want you all to do today. I've told the health department what they need to do. Here's what I want you all to do. There are people out there, there are lawyers, there are physicians, there are other health practitioners we can be working with. There are chiropractors and naturopaths and homeopaths. Support them. Support the people that are out there putting their necks on the line, not getting support from government agencies, who are out there defending at potentially their peril, at economic peril, at political peril, at professional peril. Find them, support them, and defend them. Stand up for them because they're doing a very difficult job for you. All right, that's all I have to say. I just want to say as I go that in closing, we can all have the very best health department. You could have the very best physician. You could have the very best food. Suffering and death and trial are inevitable. Let me encourage you to put your faith in the one who makes that all make sense.
Yeah.
Okay?
Woo!
Thank you.
So God bless our health department. God bless the governor. God bless our elected officials. God bless all of you. God bless Tennessee and the United States of America. Thank you.
God bless you.